Welcome back to another YouTube video. It's your girl Krissy Cela here, and in today's YouTube video I'm going to be giving you tips and tricks on how you can lift heavier in the gym. Before we get started in this video, I'd appreciate it if you leave a thumbs up, and if you found any of my YouTube videos helpful, let me know in the comments below and send me to your grandma, your friend, your auntie, whoever. There's going to be 5 tips that I'm going to go through to help you lift heavier in the gym. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner all the way to advanced, there's going to be something here for you that you're going to learn new today. Without further ado, is tip number 1. Tip number 1 is sleep. I think sleep is often overlooked, and it's something I personally struggle with. I am insanely busy. So when I'm manic and I'm stressed and I'm overwhelmed, I find it impossible to sleep. However, sleep is something that I'm gonna make a huge priority this year in my life, because I cannot stress enough how when you don't sleep and when you don't recover properly, you won't be able to lift heavier, you won't be able to lift properly, and actually with lack of sleep, it could actually do the reverse. Instead of you lifting heavier and growing more muscle, you're actually gonna deplete yourself and drain yourself. So that's why sleep is so important. When you are sleeping, you're releasing a substantial amount of hormones which are gonna help you lift heavier, such as HGH. HGH stands for human growth hormones, and especially and also testosterone, which are gonna help you predominantly lift heavier in the gym. It's that rest and recovery that we're looking for here, and I can't stress enough how it's so important, and I would rather you do one less exercise or workout during the week and actually rest and recover more. There was actually an interesting study that was made where they found that candidates that slept 5.5 hours only actually ended up depleting themselves and were causing a reverse effect. So instead of allowing testosterone and growth hormones to be sufficient enough in their sleep and recovery, it was actually doing the opposite, and it was depleting them and actually decreasing their muscle mass. So that's how important sleep and recovery is. So I would recommend, this is no surprise, up to 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Now, I know you've heard it all before, but why is that? Why is that kind of the sweet spot? And it will be different for everybody. When I mean different, some might need 7, some might need 9. It depends how much you're training, it depends how much you're moving your body. Athletes tend to need a substantial amount of rest and recovery, as opposed to someone who is simply moving their body day to day and has really low intensity workouts. So everybody is different. But the fundamental basis is it's going to improve your cognitive nervous system as well. So your mental health, your physical health, your hormones, your well-being, it all cycles back. It's not just about you sleeping more in order to lift more. It's also that mental capacity. When you're lifting more, you need to be in the correct mental frame. You know, you're lifting substantial amounts of weight, you're trying to hit a new personal best. You need to be thinking properly. You need your hormones in check, and you need to be ready for that lift. The second tip is, yet again, no surprise, but we're gonna dive into it a bit more. It's nutrition. Protein, carbs, fat. Everything is required for you to lift heavier. I was that person that cut out absolutely everything you can imagine. I started yo-yo dieting, I cut out carbs, I went on the keto diet, I fasted for God knows how long. Yes, fine, it might work for some people, but for me, it did not work, and I would personally never recommend it to my community and people I train. I just never would. That's why I can't recommend enough. Having a wholesome, nutritional, dense diet is so fundamental to lifting heavier and progressing in the gym. Protein is a sufficient macro that you need in your diet, as it's a building block of your cells. So it's gonna help you recover, it's gonna help you repair, it's gonna help you replenish. That's why it's so important to have a post-workout meal. I cannot stress it enough. Whether that's a quick protein shake that you throw together or you have ready in your bag, or whether that's a post-workout meal that you can find on the Tony Scott app, there's actually thousands of recipes there. You will never be bored. But the bottom line is, you are burning your energies when you're working out. You're depleting yourself. Your energy is going down, so you need to bring it back up. And I can't stress enough how important it is to do it instantly after your workout, rather than leaving it constantly lagging. I also can't stress enough the importance of carbs. Carbs are fundamental for you lifting heavy, for you functioning, for you actually just living your best life. Carbs here are our friends, never our enemies. The carbs I recommend are complex. So you want some whole grain, you want some sweet potatoes. Those sorts of carbs are really going to help you lift heavier. Another thing that I want to mention is there's this analogy that in order to lift heavier, you need to be in a substantial calorie surplus. Now, sure, you need to be eating more. However, let's say you're eating more of the not so great things. And what I mean by that is not wholesome, not nutritional dense, but more processed based. Just because you're eating more doesn't mean you're gonna be lifting more. You need to be eating the right things in order to be lifting more. So remember, just because you're in a surplus doesn't mean you're gonna be lifting more. It's what type of surplus you're in. The next one that I absolutely cannot agree with more is warming up. I have seen so many times by myself, by other people, they come into the gym and they ego lift without warming up. As a result of that, they're not prepped, they're not ready, they're going to injure themselves, and actually, it's just not the way you should be training, full stop. Think about it. All day you're sat on a chair. You're working in an office or you're stood up all day, not really moving your body that much. So you're expecting to have no movement, come into the gym, lift as heavy as possible without even getting in the zone. So why are dynamic movements so important to lifting heavier? Number one, it gets you in the zone. So it's that time where you can take those 10 to 15 minutes of you getting in the zone of lifting heavy. So listen to your favorite music, move your body, and get ready. Put your phone on airplane mode. No one needs to contact you when you are working on you. Always remember that. Number two, it lubricates your body. So you're starting to lubricate your body with those dynamic movements, hence why I would never recommend static movements. Always do dynamic warm-ups, never static. Number three, you're pumping blood into your muscles as opposed to your gut. So you're telling your muscles, listen here sis, it's time for me and you to lift some heavy shit. So that's what is so important about dynamic movement. But also it's the range of motion. So if you're really struggling with squat depth, if you're struggling with flexibility and mobility, dynamic warm-ups are really gonna help you move your body and flex out your body in a way that's gonna help you with range of motion. Please, for the love of God, just warm up before you're lifting. Number four, plug in energy gaps. What does that mean? For such a long time, I used to think when I'm training my lower body, my upper body has nothing to do with it. When I'm training my upper body, my lower body has nothing to do with it. I need to train abs always in order for me to build core strength. No, 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 no. Let's just stop it there. When you are working out, whether you're doing a lower body isolation movement all the way to a shoulder press, your whole entire body is one functioning unit. So what do I mean by that? I'm not sure if you remember my last video on the 5 top compound moves, but every single one of those compound moves, I am telling you to engage your core. I am telling you to brace yourself. I am telling you to retract your shoulders back. I am telling you to have a nice firm stance. Your whole entire body needs to work as a continuous unit in order for you to lift heavier. Take a barbell squat, for example. You're not just bringing the weight up and down with your legs. You're bracing your core. So bracing your core is if someone was to tickle you, if someone was to punch you, oof, you're bracing your core. You're releasing that oxygen out and engaging it. So my core is working here, not just my lower body, which is gonna help me stabilize my movement in order for me to lift heavier. My shoulders are nice and tight. My wrists are in alignment, and also I'm not just seizing up, I'm controlling the movement, which is gonna enable me to hold the barbell in a more stabilized manner. You need to start thinking of each and every single movement as a whole body movement, not just, oh, I'm doing a few kickbacks, so nothing else is relevant. Well, actually your lower back is. Your core still needs to be engaged. You need to lean forward, so you need to have stability with your arms. Just please, always remember your body acts as a unit rather than a single movement. The last tip that I think everybody needs to remember is that everybody's mechanics are different, and you have strengths and I have the weaknesses, and I have certain strength and maybe you are weak in some other things. That's totally fine, but you also have to remember you have to build on those strengths. Like if you know you're great at squatting, build on those squats, but also don't neglect the things that you're kind of weak at. We all know, I've been so honest with you guys, and I've said, I suck at chest press. I find it really scary, really intimidating, and I need maybe a few more months or even up to a year to really build that confidence on how I'm doing the movement and lift progressively heavier. But I'm really confident in my squats. So I think this is where that element of comparison can get the better of us in our fitness journey. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner all the way to advanced, you're always gonna find someone that seems to always be doing better than you. So you just gotta accept that they're on their journey and you are on yours. So please, always remember, work on your weaknesses, but better your strengths. And don't feel so overwhelmed to lift this substantial amount of weight all at once. It takes years. So that's why when someone tells me that they've had this quick 6-week progress and they've gone from 0 kg to 100 kg back squat, I'm a little bit like, that's impressive, but do you know what? It's taken me 6 years. And that's totally fine. Every single body is different and everybody's life is different. Some people are competitive athletes. Other people just simply want to move their bodies. So a competitive athlete might take shorter time to get to a specific goal that you have, and it might take you longer. But it's about you remembering that you are in your own unique journey. So I hope these tips help. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you utilize these tips to better your fitness journey. Like always, thank you so much for always supporting, and let me know what you thought in the comments below. Leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.